first myth today came via request, and it's the claim that Jon Bon Jovi's first ever professional recording was actually a novelty song for the Star Wars franchise. Believe it or not, this is 100% true, every word of it. We all know that the Star Wars franchise pretty much blew up out of nowhere, and throughout the end of the 1970s and early 1980s, they were finding countless new ways to merchandise their product. One of the more unique ways that they did this was the now infamous Star Wars Holiday Special, which for many decades was the holy grail of geekdom. In 1980, the franchise put out a second holiday item, but it was strictly a Christmas album, and it was almost exclusively performed by the actor behind 3CPO. One of the producers on that record was a guy named Tony who had a cousin named Jon Bon Jovi. At only 17 years old, the aspiring singer recorded a song called R2-D2 We Wish You a Merry Christmas. I'm not kidding. And it's a complete fact that this was Bon Jovi's first ever professional recording. Our second myth today explores a question of grammar, and it refers to the story that singer Pat Boone demanded they change the name of the song Ain't That a Shame to Isn't That a Shame when he re-recorded it. For a number of reasons, this story has held up over the decades, but it's absolutely not true in any way. Way back in 1955, Fats Domino released the original, and in my opinion, it remains the definitive take to this day. However, this was still during the era of race recordings, and only a few months later, Pat Boone decided to record his own version. It's well known that Pat Boone wanted the label to change the name of the song because he was a student at the time and was not a fan of incorrect grammar. However, when his version of the single was released, the original title remained intact, though on some recordings it was actually mistakenly printed as Ain't It a Shame. This also points to one of the rare occasions throughout that era when the second version of a recording actually reignited interest in the original, and the Fats Domino version actually re-entered the charts and did quite well. The title, however, never changed. It's just a myth. For today's final myth, I'm going to address an email that I received a few weeks ago, and it posed the question as whether or not Alvin and the Chipmunks really did release a punk rock album. As strange as it may seem, in almost every way possible, this is completely true. Alvin and the Chipmunks date all the way back to the 1950s, and by the time punk rock exploded at the end of the 70s, they'd pretty much been forgotten. Well, in 1980, an LA DJ decided to play Blondie's hit single Call Me at double speed just as a joke, and along with that, he jokingly said on the air that it was the new single from Alvin and the Chipmunks. For whatever reason, people absolutely loved it, they kept requesting it, and all of a sudden there was a new demand for Alvin and the Chipmunks. The son of the creator of the cartoon characters quickly saw an amazing window of opportunity and jumped on it. And only a few months later, an album called Chipmunk Punk was released. To be honest, for people who really enjoy punk rock, the selections covered there really stray far from its pure definition, as you'll find songs from Tom Petty, Queen, The Knack, and really not anything from what most people consider true punk bands. But in the end, yes, the album absolutely exists. So those are the myths for this week. I hope you dug them. Be sure to check back here every Thursday as I delve into some of the coolest stories in music history, and be here every day for all the music news, reviews, and knowledge you'll ever need.